Today we talk about Saddlebag Essentials. Hello legends and super legends, welcome to Veloharmony. In today's video I was inspired to go ahead and make a video about what you might want to put in your saddlebag. I did some videos in the past, but I wanted to do something updated. Those of you who follow the channel know that I don't particularly care to have anything on my bike. And I'm going to explain why in this video, and also explain why I've decided to make this video and carry a bag on one of my bikes. If you're going to carry a saddlebag on your bike, you need things that you are more likely to use in terms of what's more likely to happen when you ride a bicycle on the open road. You're guaranteed to have it flat at some point. You may go a year, 18 months or longer. It's a matter of when, not if. So absolutely, you need at least a tube. That's a need. I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna put 2 tubes. This is an Arundel bag. I like this brand because it's small when you get on the bike, because I have big thighs, and the other bags with excess Velcro stick and they grab my shorts sometimes when you have extra straps. So I'll show you why I chose this bag and why I'm going to put it on the Colnago today. So besides your tubes, I'm choosing to carry 2, and the reason is, you guys know we ride long, we go far. So it's winter, I'm going to load up the Colnago. I do most of my training on the Colnago. It's the most comfortable bicycle I have. The tire iron that I choose to carry, tire lever, is made by Park Tool. It is not the thinnest or the most slick, but it's the most effective. When I have a flat on the road, I don't want to be messing with a fancy tire lever. They got other tire levers, you guys know, they're thin and so forth. You can't get it under the bead easily. This thing never fails. All I need is one on foldable tires. With non-foldable, you might need 2 tire irons. So you need to know what kind of tire you got on your bike. Most of the tires nowadays are foldable. So if you have non-foldable, chances are you're aware of that. So you need at least 2, because it's harder to get that wire bead off the rim. They've gotten better over the years. So if it's something recent, you probably can get by with 1. So you're gonna need tubes, no question about it. So I'm gonna put a tube in the bag, right there. You need at least 1. I'm carrying 2. Do you need a wipe? No, but it's nice to have, so you don't have to wipe your hands on the grass or on your shorts. I always carry 1 wet wipe. It lasts because it has its own package, so it's not gonna dry out. I slip it on top of the tube. I always carry, by choice, nitrile gloves. I put them in the baggie because they're easier to handle and put into the pouch. It moves around easier because the bag is slick. The nitrile is kind of grabby. And then I have my boot. That's an old tire that I made a boot out of. And in here, I also have a patch kit. That plastic thing there, that's a patch kit. You can get that. Park Tool makes them and so forth. So, why do I have a patch kit, then I have a tube, and I say I'm carrying 2? You never know. One day, you might have multiple flats because, let's say, just bad luck, or you didn't find what was in the tire after checking, because we always recommend you check your tire to make sure what caused the flat. It's not still there. So at least you have a patch kit, so you don't have to call for a ride. Doesn't weigh anything, doesn't take up any space. I even left it in the original package and put it in this bag. Reason being is sometimes when you take some of the glueless patches, when you take them out, sometimes they dry out. So I left it in the original pack. I'm gonna put it in here as well on top of the other tube. I found that it's easier to put the tubes in there when you separate them with something in between. I'm putting a second tube in this bag. So now I've got 2 tubes in there. Then the question remains, do I need a multi-tool? That's where I'm on the fence about putting it in here. I have several multi-tools. This is one of them by Lezine. I've got another one by another vendor that's slightly lighter. I don't put a multi-tool in the bag because I know that at some point I'm gonna have a flat. I don't know for sure if at some point I'm going to need a multi-tool, and here's why. I maintain my bikes. I'm consistent. I keep them updated. That's me. If you don't, then yeah, chances are you will need it more often. So there's no question when I roll out as to the condition of my bicycle, because I check them after every ride. When I wipe the tubes and everything, if anything's going on, I deal with it. So for me, I don't have to have a multi-tool. Now, if you're going on a ride where you think you're going to be adjusting your cleats because you put on new cleats or whatever, you don't have to have a multi-tool for that. You can just take a 4mm Allen wrench, the size you need, slip it in your jersey for that ride. So I'm not going to put a multi-tool in this bag because there's no point in hauling it around every day when I'm not likely to use it, as opposed to a tube. You're not guaranteed to need this, but you're guaranteed to have a flat at some point if you ride a bicycle. That's my logic. Now, if you're worried about it, what I recommend is pack what I told you to put in this bag, what I suggested, and then when you're concerned about it, stick a multi-tool in your jersey for those few times that you think something's going on with your bike that you may need to deal with while you're on the ride. But don't keep it in here forever and ever to eternity when it's not very likely you'll need it if you keep your bike maintained anyway. I don't carry multi-tool to give to other people when they have problems. That's their problem. They need to keep their bikes maintained. You know what I'm talking about. There's always a guy or two in a group ride, always having problems, but never have Allen wrenches. But they know they got issues. They left home with it. And they're asking everybody, do you have? Sorry. So that's my logic. You may or may not agree with it. That's fine. But don't lug things around you're not likely to use. So in my opinion, 2 tubes, tire lever, even the nitrile glove, they're not necessary. That's your minimum you need. I just put them in there because I don't like my hands to get dirty. So I don't dirty my kit or my tape. Those of you who have white tape on your bike or lighter colors, you know what I'm talking about. That's why I recommend the nitrile gloves. So now, here it is. A compact bag. I'm going to push down the tire lever in there. I'm going to bring it close so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to zip. So I got 2 tubes, tire levers, and boot kit, and so forth in here. Okay, let's go ahead and zip this up. And then I'm going to move the camera so you can see why I'm going to put it on the Colnago. My Colnago, because it's not custom, has more of a set, it has a setback seat post. If you look at that, I've got a lot of rails exposed in the back. A lot of rails exposed. So, let me move this camera here so you can see me in there. So it's a good candidate to stick a bag on there because it will go out of the way. I don't like the bags to touch my legs and so forth. This bag is brand new. I have not adjusted the strap, so I'm going to show you what I do when I put them on there. So now, with the Arundel, this leather is designed to protect the bag if it contacts like the hardware under your saddle. So they recommend that this goes in. I like to wedge my bags in between the rails. That's why this bike is a good candidate, because it has a lot of rails exposed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to route this here. And then I like the bag because they've got a little tab down here that this goes through, which makes the bag very secure. Those of you who know other people that have bags that hit a bump on the road, the bag falls off the bike. The way they do theirs, you've got a lot of different points of contact that protect you from that. So now, this one sticks out on this side. I'm going to pull this in here into the tab. That's where the Velcro is, and it comes back on itself. Now, I'm going to squeeze the bag like this and get it between the rails. That gets it out of the way. You can see my light is on here and it's out of the way. So it's not going to affect where I like to put my light. As I squeeze, I'm pulling. Now look at that bag, get smaller. When I'm done, I'll take it off the stand so you can see. Nice and tight. That's the way I like my bags to be. That way they don't bounce around when you're moving. Now I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to route this cable back under this tab because it's going back on itself. And this side of it has the catch for the Velcro. So you don't want to go over that little tab that you saw me feed it through, because you don't want the tab to be in the middle of the Velcro attachment and the fur that the Velcro attaches to. You want them to mate. So I'm going to put it inside the tab again as it goes back. I'm still holding this side so I don't lose the tension. And then I'm going to pull like that and latch it. Now I'm going to bring the camera over here so you can see what I'm doing from this side. Hopefully it will. So what I've done is by squeezing it, you can see the little creases in the bag. It's on there. And then the Velcro is attached. This is the tab I was talking about that they go through. Don't let this tab get between the two Velcro pieces. They need to mate. And then it comes over here and it ends right there is where it ends. Under the bag. This is excess, and that's the stuff that messes up your shorts. That excess, I'm gonna cut that off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the camera down here. Let's bring it down. I'm gonna take the bike off the stand because I want you guys to see. If you don't cut this off, on some bags, this ends up coming all the way up here on this side. And that's where your leg, on the side of the saddle, that's the back of your shorts right there. It would just start rubbing. So all you need for the attachment is, I know I'm not gonna put anything else in this bag that will make it bigger than this. So now by loading it with everything I will possibly carry, I can safely cut this now because it comes longer than you need it to. So right there where the Velcro ends, let me move this down a little bit so you can see. The Velcro attachment ends right there. You'll feel it. You can feel it right there. That's the last place it has anything to grab onto. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave about maybe 2 millimeters. Well, let's do 4 millimeters. So 4 millimeters, which is about this much. Let me do it this way so you can see. I left this much. I'm going to get a flame and I'm going to just run it along the edge of that so there's no fraying on the edge. It will just kind of melt because that's the kind of material it is. But now look, there is nothing to touch my shorts. There. I think that's a good enough shot. So, what I wanted you all to see was that now if you look at the bike, this bag is out of the way. The bag is under the saddle and all. I will bring the camera closer in a bit so you can see that. But I want you to see how it looks. I've got 2 tubes in there, all the stuff that I told you. It's just going to stay on this bike. Because during the winter I use this bike most of the time anyway. Well, pretty much most of the year. So now I've got my mud guards on there. It's supposed to rain today. I'm taking it out for a ride. And so when I go for a ride, I have to remember my pump. Because I don't carry cartridges. Those of you who carry CO2, you may need to maybe have 1 tube in there and have your CO2 and your little CO2 adapter. They got the real short ones. You can put that in the back because you're going to need those. So then you will do 1 tube in your CO2 because you really won't be able to fit CO2 and 2 tubes in there. You know, enough CO2. So I like carrying a pump because I've been the route with CO2s, and when I have multiple flats, I ran out. So I just carry a high pressure small pump and it works great for me. So I hope this will help those of you who were on the fence about bags, but I didn't want it to come across that I don't carry bags at all. It's just that I don't like them to change the lines of my bicycle. So there's nothing wrong with having a bag on the bicycle. I just prefer to not have it. So the Colnago is a good candidate. You can see how that bag fits under the rails there. That's why I decided it would work perfectly. It takes up all this space from that large setback seat post.